On January 28, 2011, 45-year-old African-American Harold Hodge walked onto the Supreme Court Plaza on a snowy day. No one was there except the police on the plaza and a few people walking by, going to work or going over across the street to the Congressional building. Around his neck was a 3-foot by 2-foot sign hanging around his neck, poster board. And on that sign, this is what it said: "The U.S. government allows police to illegally murder and brutalize African Americans and Hispanic people." Well, Mr. Hodge was approached by the police. He was creating no disturbance. He was just standing there silently and told that he was violating federal law. Lo and behold, there's actually a federal law that says you cannot walk onto the Supreme Court Plaza, this huge area in America, with a sign and say anything in form of protest or alerting people to anything. It's supposedly against the law. Well, it's a discriminatory law, and the Ruff Institute now has filed a lawsuit on behalf of Mr. Hodge saying his First Amendment rights have been violated. I've been up there a number of times for Supreme Court arguments and have engaged in a team of lawyers arguing before the Supreme Court. Well, out on that plaza during that time, there are reporters everywhere, there are signs, there are people holding press conferences, but that's allowed, but Mr. Hodge cannot carry a sign. Well, Mr. Hodge was swiftly arrested and taken away and handcuffed, as you will see from the footage taken of Mr. Hodge's demonstration that day. Isn't it amazing? In America, where we have the First Amendment, which says that we have the right to petition our government for a redress of grievances, peacefully so. Well, this man was very, very peaceful, as you saw. But the point is, there are several things we need to understand here. First of all, he has a right to be out here. The Congress passing a law like that is right in the face of the First Amendment. A free speech zone around the First Amendment, that is the whole point of the First Amendment. We're supposed to be able to petition our government leaders. Well, if they create zones where we can't petition them, it destroys the First Amendment. So we're going to be fighting this case in court. But Mr. Hodge is no kook. Let me tell you, what he says on that sign is absolutely true, and we should take it to heart. Let me give you a few statistics, and I'm going to read from these very carefully so I don't make any mistakes. There are more black men currently imprisoned on probation or parole than there were enslaved in America in 1850. Black males account for 35% of the prison population, but less than 10% of the total population. Blacks and whites are equally likely to use illegal drugs, but blacks account for 40% of federal prisoners and 45% of state prisoners convicted of drug offenses. The New York Police Department's infamous stop and frisk policy often treats innocent people, especially minorities, as suspects and criminals. In the first quarter of the year 2011, 180,000 New Yorkers were stopped and frisked, and 88% of them, or 161,000, were neither arrested nor issued a summons. Of those 161,000 innocent individuals, 84% were black or Latino. Well, Mr. Hodge has a case, and we should be listening. He's right culturally, he's right socially, and he's right legally. The First Amendment gives us these rights, and by creating these kind of laws, we're destroying this country. And we're going to stand up and fight for Mr. Hodge, and we're going to stand up and fight for anyone who stands there and says, I have a right to speak to our government leaders. Without it, folks, there is no freedom.